Good day, beloved. Well, I wanted to take some time and read a little bit in the book of Mark with you. So we're in chapter 4, and as I was reading, this is one of the parables of Jesus, and it talks about some of the seeds and how they fall, and which ones are successful and which ones are not, and how the different seeds grow. Let's start in verse 4. Chapter 4, verse 4 of the book of Mark. And it came to pass where he sowed, some fell by the wayside, and the fowls of the air came and devoured it up. And some fell on the stony ground where it had not much earth, and immediately it sprang up, because it had no depth of earth. But when the sun was up, it scorched, because it had no root, it withered away. And some fell among thorns, and the thorns grew up and choked it, and it yielded no fruit. And other fell on good ground, and did yield fruit, that sprung up, increased, and brought forth some 30, some 60, and some 100. And we'll skip down a little bit to verse 14. And the sower soweth the word. So now we're talking about, people. And these are they by the wayside, where the word is sown. But when they have heard, Satan cometh immediately, and taketh away the word that was sown in their hearts. And these are they likewise, which are sown on stony ground, who when they have heard the word, immediately receive it with gladness, and have no root in themselves, so endure but for a time. Afterward, when affliction or persecution ariseth in the word's sake, immediately they are offended. Offended is cross-referenced down here as caused to stumble. So these are people that are not strong in the word. They haven't really built their faith. And so when the world is doing what it's about to do and start causing persecution and start to punish people for Jesus' name, they will turn away from their faith and they will join the rising religion that will be taking over in the end days. The religion who's in worship of the Antichrist, essentially. And these are they which are sown among thorns, such as hear the word. And the cares of this world, and the deceitfulness of riches, and the lusts of other things entering in, choke out the word, and it becometh unfruitful. This is in reference to people that are focusing more of the glittering prizes that this world has to offer, and are not putting all of their efforts towards their faith. They're putting more efforts towards their bank account. They're putting more efforts towards their big fancy houses, their big trucks that have payments that are ridiculous. These are people whose priorities are not where they belong. And so they're being pulled away by the deceitfulness of riches. They're being pulled away by the lusts of the world. And these are the same as the seeds that were dropped in the thorns. The thorns will come up and will drown out any chance of the plant being fruitful. This is what this is talking about. If we're focused on the riches of the world, if we're focused on all of the glittering prizes that we cannot take with us when we leave this place, your faith will suffer because of it. These things are all taken into consideration. Let's continue, verse 20. And these are they which are sown on good ground, such as hear the word and receive it, and bring forth fruit, some 30-fold, some 60, and some 100. I'd like us to all put some serious thought into what this is talking about, because it's very relevant for the days that we're in. We're in the end days. Things are ramping up. Paul told us that he wouldn't have to write to us about this season. We would recognize the season that we're in. And it's pretty blatantly obvious. I am way out on dirt roads off of the main path, and you see what's on that pole behind me? You cannot go anywhere without somebody watching. You're being surveilled everywhere. Our justice privacy, liberty, the things that this country was built on, you've been lied to. Your country has fallen. This is, you are living in a country that's lying to you about what you actually have. The lie is just about up. They don't have much of a reason to lie anymore. But you know what? I'm done deceiving myself thinking that that is the point of what we should be focusing on right now. You're not saving this country. You're not bringing back anything that is being taken away. We're in the end times. Jesus is returning soon. This is not going to last for very much longer. We need to focus on what's actually important. We need to focus on building wealth and riches in heaven, not wealth and riches in this world. We are running out of time where this world is even relevant to our existence. Jesus is coming back to rapture the church, and you need to focus on what you need to bring your family in line with that so that they don't have to withstand this tribulation that's coming. God's church is not set for a timeline that is considered a wrathful timeline. We're going to be pulled out of this. Tribulation's coming. The season's here. Everything is quite literally ramping up to where the beast system is online. There's no doubt anymore. The beast system is here. You will have to fall in line just to buy food. You will have to fall in line just to have a job. You won't be able to work. Things aren't getting cheaper either. A loaf of bread will cost a day's wages. And that's if you can work a day's wages. If you don't want to fall in line with the system, you might not even have work. If you're not growing your own food, they're going to try and starve you out. And they will try to make you take the mark of the beast. We're playing for keeps, people. This isn't a can that's going to get kicked down the road for very much longer. We need to focus on what's important. And guess what? Your house isn't important because it's not going to you can't take it with you. As soon as Jesus returns, that house is inconsequential to what comes next. You might like your truck, you might like your car, you might like your bank account. That means nothing when you die. Believe me, I've watched my grandma pass away, and I've watched my wife's grandma pass away just in the past year, and all of their stuff is still here. All their stuff is getting split amongst the family. And to be completely honest, I hate when there's a death in the family, not only because of the loss of somebody that was important, but because of what it turns people into. Family members are arguing over who gets what. Everyone is so materialistic that they're not even focusing on the person that they just lost. In fact, my wife's grandmother, when she passed, obviously, my mother-in-law was a big part of all the process. She was, needing to be involved with the burial and dealing with the mortuary and all of that. And before 48 hours had even passed, she was already getting bombarded by cousins that were saying that they wanted this, saying that they wanted that. And then she would say, why don't we deal with Grandma first? And once that's handled, then let's deal with stuff. And then they got offended and acted all butthurt. This world has lied to you. All of these things are not important. We need to focus on what's important. None of these things, none of these material prizes, nothing that you can physically hold in your hand, aside from a dang Bible right now, is important in the slightest. I'm not telling you to shell up and not make money to buy what you can right now. You should be. cut out all the extra stuff and start buying some rice, buying some beans, build up some food storage. Because if you don't want to fall in line with this system, time's running short for you to be able to buy those things. Things are going to change in this country in a big hurry once all of this gets set in motion. Everything's ramping up for it right now. Please, beloved, take these words with you and think about them. I just want you to focus on what's important, because I've just gone on a tangent about stuff happening in our country that's really not that important in the grand scheme of things. I fall into it as well. Don't let your hatred lean you in a certain direction. Don't let your anger steer you in a certain direction. Don't let your greed. Don't let any of these things that are worldly and fleshly desires pull you away from what is important. You need to keep your focus where it belongs. And that's myself included. Once again, beloved, if I'm saying something in these videos, I'm saying it as a reminder to myself and to my sons and to my daughter and to my wife, much more than I'm saying it to you out there. Obviously, I'm saying it for everybody, but don't feel like I'm aiming it or attacking where you're sitting. More or less attacking myself. And that's because I need to keep my focus where it belongs. If you disagree with something that I've said in this, let's start a dialogue. Let's start a conversation, because all it's going to do is get people involved and keep focus where it belongs. I don't know how much time we have left here, but I aim to make the best of it. Even though I'm not always the best at doing that, that's where my focus is. And I pray that that's where your focus will be as well. And maybe you guys can throw in a nugget of knowledge towards me that would be beneficial in my life too. I appreciate you spending some time with me. Give some thought to the things that I've said, and try and keep your focus where it belongs. Be better at it than what I have been lately. Keep your head up. Keep your shoulders back. Don't let this world wear on you. We don't have much time left. Stand firm, build your faith, and try and bring faith back into the minds of those that you love. Focus is everything, and if somebody's focusing on the Lord, they're better off than they would be otherwise. I appreciate your time, beloved. Have a good day.